Shri B, chair.
You are connecting to YouTube and all?
Yes, uncle. Namaskara. I'll introduce BSKBA Association. BSKBA Association, popularly known as Gokul, it is a 96-year-old charitable trust in Mumbai, and our activities include a community center at Sion and a home for senior citizens at Nerul, Navi Mumbai. With over 5,000 members, we have been actively interacting for religious, cultural, and social causes. The BSKB YouthWing is conducting Sunday interactive sessions along with the Talent Hunt series. Today, we present to you the 19th episode of Sambhashana, an inspirational interview series. Shri B. Narayan will be interviewed by Shri S.R. Bala. I'll give an introduction for S.R. Bala, sir. Shri Subramanya Rao Bala is the second son of his proud parents, late Shri Sanjeeva Rao and Srimati B. Sundari Rao, and has lived with his parents in Bala village till completing his high school education. He has completed his BE in Chemical Engineering from KREC Surathkal, now known as NITK Surathkal, in 1974. He secured the first rank in the University of Mysore, which earned him the President's Gold Medal and state level award presented by the then Chief Minister of Karnataka in 1975. He later studied in Faculty of Management Studies, University of Delhi, and obtained his MBA degree with distinction in the year 1987. Meanwhile, he had already started working from 1975 onwards, and besides his excellent academic record, he is also known to be working with well-known companies like ONGC, BRPL, EIL, Reliance Industries, Amec Foster Wheeler, Asia Pacific Private Limited, and he has been working in locations like Mehsana, Gujarat, New Delhi, Mumbai, Singapore. He was instrumental and had a major contribution in the design, engineering, and implementation of prestigious projects in refinery and petrochemical sectors, such as gas cracker complex in Nagothane, Maharashtra, Jamnagar refinery project in Gujarat. And for these projects, he was assigned the overseas consultant office in London, Houston, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur. And as you can guess, he is a well-traveled man, and he takes good interest in extracurricular and cultural activities. So he and his late wife, Mrs. Tara S. Rao, are blessed with two children, Satvik, who is working as a senior automation engineer in Los Angeles, USA, and daughter Tripti as senior interior design specialist in Mumbai. And he's living with his daughter in Kanjurmarg, Mumbai. With this, I'll hand it over to Bala uncle.
Thank you, Guru Prasad. Good afternoon, all the viewers, and good afternoon, Mr. Narayan, who is the hero or of today's session, Sambhashana program, and I will be the host for for chatting with him. In fact, today you are going to listen to one of the most successful entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs means who are the kingmakers. For the entrepreneurs like Reliance, Mr. Mukesh Ambani, and others. So he has been in fact called fondly as Balnadu Narayan by all his classmates and colleagues, and BN Shri BN in Reliance, and Narayana sir for all of us. All of us call him Narayana. So he has been quite successful in his professional career, in social front as well as the family front also. I just want to give a brief introduction of Mr. Narayan, so that then we can start with the his chat. So I am very much confident that he will be the role model for all the youngsters, youth wingers, and not only for them, even for elders like us. So I think we are going to have a good session today. Let me start with this brief introduction. Mr. B. Narayan is a chemical engineer, alumnus of Karnataka Regional Engineering College, Surathkal, now called as NITK, and of Indian and as well as Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. He had a brilliant academic record throughout his career. After his master's in chemical engineering from Madras IIT, Mr. Narayan joined Indian Petrochemicals Corporation Limited, IPCL, Baroda, as engineer trainee in 1973. He worked as project engineer for polyester filament yarn project of Petrophils Cooperative Limited, followed by a short stint with the Union Carbide India Limited. I think that is in Mumbai. Then he joined Reliance Industries Limited in 1979 and has been involved with the implementation of petrochemicals and refinery projects in their Patalganga, Hazira and Jamnagar complexes. He has also worked on the assignments related to Reliance retail business during its initial launch and also Geo World Center at Bandra Kurla complex in Mumbai. Currently, member of the top management team as group president, procurement and projects with varied responsibilities. And maybe, he is like the right hand of the management. So, that will explain everything. And well known in his field. Mr. Narayan is a widely traveled man and associated with the National Association of Corrosion Engineers, Indian Institute of Materials Management, and Chemtech Foundation. He is very well known in his field for his industrious work, upright attitude, and in recognition of his contributions to chemical industry, he was honored with a number of awards. To name a few, Unitop Award for the year from Indian Institute of Materials Management, Chemtech CEW Leadership and Excellence Award for outstanding contribution to the Indian chemical industry, then the Distinguished International Purchase Professional Award from Hanover Milano Fairs India Private Limited. Being a voracious reader and with his regular reading habit, he keeps himself abreast with the world affairs. An avid sports fan, Narayan has keen interest in all types of sports, a 60-90 minute walk in his everyday routine. And this I have witnessed myself, in Bombay as well as Jamnagar. He has special passion for playing chess and had the privilege of playing the game of chess with the three grandmasters, Miguel Nabsdorf and Vishwanathan Anand and P. Hari Krishna in exhibition matches. He comes forward to support social activities by way of service, advice, and enablers. Blissfully married to Miss Shaila and Dr. Shaila, she is, and has two sons who are married and settled down with their families in the USA. I just want to make a brief summary of whatever I discussed. The above narrative is just a brief profile of Shri Narayan sir, the contents of which are it is inversely proportional to his credentials and achievements. Sorry for talking in physics language. He has achieved much more so far and still going strong. Barring a short stint with the Union Carbide and IPCL Petrophils, Mr. Narayan has served Reliance Group for a 43 long years, and I am confident that he will definitely celebrate the Diamond Jubilee and maybe Platinum Jubilee as a successful employee or with Reliance. This is the result of his loyalty, attachment, and sense of belongingness, dedication, and credibility towards the organization. Hats off to you, sir. I am sure your invaluable contribution in various forms has made Reliance what it is today. He has been an achiever with exemplary performance and excellence. He has also supported his alma mater, NITK's alumni activities such as Global Convention in Mumbai, then Surat Kal Srinivas Nagar, and many other initiatives. He has been quite participative in the activities of Gokul also, taking time out of his busy schedules. He has been an asset not only for Reliance, but also to Gokul and similar institutions and associations. Just in short, his contributions have been tremendous, terrific, and wonderful wherever he is associated with. Wishing you, sir, all the very best in your current and future endeavors in your life with sustained health, happiness, and peace of mind. Sir, if you want to add something here, so we will be happy to listen to you also. It was my privilege to give a brief introduction to you to all the viewers. Thank you.
Thank you. Bala, I will address you as Bala. Okay, to make it simple, instead of Mr. Bala, Mr. SR Bala, and all that. Huh? And thanks very much for that great introduction and kind words.
Okay.
And I wanted that introduction to be very brief, but you made it a point to be extremely elaborate. So thank you for those.
Sir, your accomplishments are so much, it may take full one day. I try to make it as short as possible.
Let's, it's what's the time? Do you have a time target?
I think we can go up to next 1 hour. That is to say 4:45 or 5.
I just want to make sure that you're not off the mark, and so want to stay within the time.
Yeah. What will you do is, sir, we will start with the chat, and towards the end, if you have time, you can have some questions and answers.
No problem.
Otherwise, we will take the questions, and maybe you can answer it through email or WhatsApp later.
No. I am available for any questions and answer. I'm available on the phone all the time. Okay. And personally, we can meet. Any questions you have, I'm sure I'll be able to respond.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, now let me start with my questions. Some of them are typical to all the Sambhashana program. So it is up to you to whether you answer it briefly or in detail. Sir, first of all, we want to hear your childhood and education in brief. Yeah.
Okay. My childhood I spent in Mangalore. And, if you're talking about starting up my education, I did not go to school conventionally. I did not get admission to the school conventionally. First couple of years, actually, my grandmother taught me at home.
Oh, okay.
Ajji, ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ.
Oh, that is nice to know. It is like a gurukul.
Mother, yeah, she taught me in school, and I think I remember probably joining the school only at the second or third standard. It's near Mangala Devi Temple, if you know Mangalore. And it's, I think in 1956, where we moved to a new place called Pandeshwar, and then I got admission in a school called Rosaria High School, very close to our house, about 1.5 kilometers. And I went to that school right through up to the SSLC. And from home to school was walking. And I remember those days, walk barefoot to the school. I come back, and I belong to a very middle-class family. And I don't come from a affluent family. So in a normal middle-class life.
So how far was the school, sir?
About 1.5 kilometers or something.
Okay.
So it was probably a 10 or 15 minutes of walk. And I had my cousins also living close by. So we all used to go together in the morning and get back for lunch. We used to walk back again to the school. So it was a normal routine. And it was typical school days.
Okay.
And at the when I was in the school, what were the activities? And I happened to know they actually happened to be relatives to distant relatives. There was a postmaster in Mangalore, and his children were members of the post office club. So with their influence, or rather, good offices. So I got membership. Me and my brother and a few others got membership in that post office club, and I used to go there. It's basically, there are no outdoor games. There's only indoor games. It's to play table tennis, carom, and chess, etc.
Okay.
And so it was good. It was quite a normal day. Come back from the school, go to this club, play games, and that's how the days used to be. And I used to play, the club level chess, club level tennis, table tennis, and also I remember having played a tournament in Bangalore, for the city championship and all of that.
Mhm.
So that was a normal, my early school days. And after after my SSLC, which we used to, probably ours was the last batch of students in school who passed out SSLC. And as I went to school 11 years,
Okay.
not 10 years like today's children.
Mhm.
So I remember from, I did the third form, or which is 8th year. And then from there, I moved into the 8th standard. Third form to the 8th standard, and 8th, 9th, 10th. So ended up as 10th standard, but actually SSLC. So after that, I remember early school days, I was good at mathematics. So I used to give tuition to the classmates
Okay.
after the school, particularly in maths. So they were very keen. Some of these students, they never used to attend the classes, but they used to come for my tuition classes. So I remember those days. So after the school, as natural, we had to go to pre-university in Mangalore, if you know. So everybody would go and join a pre-university course in St. Aloysius College or Government College. So I went to St. Aloysius College, which was probably another 1.5 kilometers, so about 2.5, 3 kilometers from our house. Again, the same, walk to this college, walk back. And so, though, summer was not easy to do that, but I used to do it. In pre-university was nothing much eventful. 1 year just passed through, and fortunately, I should say, and I got a rank in pre-university.
Oh.
And so it was a university
great.
rank, and so I had no problem in getting admission in engineering. So that's how the early schooling. So early schooling and up to the pre-university. So
Sir,
you want to, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any childhood dreams, or were you dreaming that you will become a doctor or engineer, or maybe a chartered accountant or a lawyer? Because I personally I was somehow very much um, had a sort of fear of seeing blood and all. I never wanted to get into medical. So maybe that was one reason I got into engineering. So you also maybe had certain.
No, my dreams were my parents' dreams. And as a child, I did not have any personal dream then. And it was too much for me to dream of anything. And because of my background. And so definitely, my parents, particularly my father, had great aspiration for me. So coming to the dream part of it, it was obvious where I couldn't dream of becoming a doctor. Why? Those days, I only knew the name of KMC, Kasturba Medical College, and the seats were based on capitation fee, and only rich children used to go to that college, so it was out of question. And I was not, probably my father had in his mind that I should go to an engineering college, given I was fairly good at studies. So he had that idea.
Yeah. And your choice of chemical engineering, was it by choice or was it like?
No, so that's also a very interesting thing. I had a relative who was a civil engineer, worked in PWD,
Okay.
and he advised me if I was ever going to engineering college, I shouldn't take up civil engineering, because since he was working in PWD, he knew all the negative parts of working as a civil engineer.
Yeah.
So I was out of question. I also had a person who's known to one of my friends who was an electrical engineer, worked in electricity board. And I used to hear that electricity board, that man, that man was very corrupt. So these are the two disciplines of engineering were out of questions for me. So I did not want to. And if at all I went to the engineering course. And those days, I don't know, you were a few years younger to me, but when we went, it was a craze that only who were really meritorious and high up in the merit list would get mechanical engineering. But I did not have any problem. So in KREC, when I applied for it, was natural because KREC is so close by from Mangalore. It's 10 miles away, and my cousin used to live there, and so my father found it extremely convenient for me to stay there, be a day scholar, and took admission in KREC. And I remember I went to the merit, went to the college when they put up the merit list, and I found my name 7th. I can't forget it.
Oh.
So the mechanical engineering is a normal thing, which is no confusion, no complexity, nothing to think about. So I took admission in mechanical engineering, but without much knowledge about what all this engineering and mechanical engineering or electrical and civil or anything. But those days, only these 3 discipline engineering was popular among the people, and other engineering courses were not even known and not even heard of. But when I went to the engineering college, couple of years, and then I realized mechanical engineering is not my cup of tea. So then I found that there was also the discipline called chemical engineering and metallurgy engineering. So I remember, Bala, you're from KREC, so Karakareddy, Professor Karakareddy?
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether you know. So he was a principal. So I went and approached with my father accompanied me. I actually went to the principal and requested for a change, but he was not easily agreeable. But somehow, my father convinced him because of a little bit of my father's background. So he is, he is a veteran, Second World War veteran.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he convinced him. And he agreed to change my discipline. If there was no seat available, it was, remember, 30 seats in chemical engineering. Yes, and so they had to, probably, I don't know what they did, they created a seat or something. So they found a way to accommodate me. And that's how I shifted to chemical engineering.
And sir, any memorable events, you still remember in those 5 long years in KREC?
One memorable.
I am also from KREC. I was your junior in
No. My one memorable thing which you need to know is in the entire college, because those days we did not have. Today they have mathematics people and PhDs and college. Then when we were in 4th year, 5th year, it's expanded, and the maths students used to come who finished their BSc would take up MSc and further studies. But those days, just these 5 disciplines, and entire college, there was only one girl, and that girl was in my class, and her name was Machado,
okay,
and my name was Narayan. So we had our names next to each other. So, and it was quite an experience for this girl. Coming to first 2 years, we had to have civil survey and all that, going together. And I used to feel pity for her in the hot sun, going around carrying this, what is this pole, survey pole. And yeah, so that was one memorable thing. And the other thing is, I used to be a day scholar, so I used to cycle up. I used to, I graduated myself from walking to the school and back to cycling to home and back. So I was pretty much known, and I used to cycle back, and I used to have some classes in the ground floor, and my classmates used to see me. Sometimes the class would start after my lunch, when you return, no, so I would be late by 2 minutes, 5 minutes, the class would start and these people would see through the window. And I'm just cycling back and parking my car and getting into the class. So these are, and then though I was a day scholar, I was very keen on, a little bit of sports, like because of my school days, a club membership and playing these indoor games. And so I used to go to the hostel and with my friends and used to play. I used to be engaged myself pretty much till about 7:30 in the evening, and cycle back home. So that was a routine, and not much otherwise. And of course, second year I remember I joined the gym, and in the school gym, I mean college gym. I don't know whether you know the place where it was very close to the ground, and I used to then do some jogging, this and that, and I was keeping myself pretty active.
Okay.
And otherwise, one important thing is being in the chemical engineering division, 30 students only, and there was camaraderie, and with the lecturers, professors, and faculty, very close to each other, good rapport. And our community was also, community means 30 students, very close, and I had some few people very close to each other, and we used to go to Mangalore city for seeing, watching a movie or having some weekend, go to the cream bottle. I remember ice cream parlor and back, etc. So they were and once in a while we used to make a visit to Mulki, if you know the place. No, I shouldn't be telling all these things because it is then a conversation between you and me, and the viewers may not make out anything.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to touch base, that's all.
Yes,
sir. Then now you are in Mumbai for last 40-45 years. So are you planning to settle down in Mumbai, or how is it?
Most probably yes, in Mumbai.
Yeah?
Most probably yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
although my parents, my mother is my mother and brother and his family are in Mangalore, and our original house that we had and is rebuilt, and so they are there. So I go once in a while.
So these cultural changes, you find with reference to Bangalore here,
there was hardly any culture even when I was in Mangalore. So there was no reason for a change of culture. So wherever I was, that was a culture. Okay. So I moved from Mangalore to first Chennai or Madras then.
Yeah.
I went to IIT. So IIT was also memorable days, because if I recall, if I were to jog my memory, probably those IIT 2 years that I spent were the best 2 years my education time. As compared to Rosario High School or St. Aloysius College and KREC and then IIT Madras. They were very memorable, very nice. I used to enjoy the environment and ambience and students, quality of students, and the level of students. So
yeah,
it was interesting 2 years there, and then of course I left IIT, and so that was a culture change, if at all if you may, is the word, but I never thought about culture change, to be frank. So when I was in IIT campus, so there was no problem. I did not have to learn Tamil, and no, I can't speak. Maybe I can follow a little bit of it. That's the only cultural change. Other than there was nothing. It was extremely cosmopolitan institute. So then I got this first job after MTech in chemical engineering from IIT. Took up my first job with IPCL in Baroda.
Yeah.
And so again, I never thought of any. There was no cultural shock at all any time. So I was very soon, I was fairly flexible, like most of the South Indians, truly, who are a little bit open-minded, not narrow-minded or closed-minded. It's very easy to adapt wherever they go.
Yes.
Typical Malayalis,
Yeah.
They go.
I know. So we are very close to Kerala, so we also have that.
Exactly. So to some extent, so there was no problem in adjusting anyway.
Mm.
And
Sir, you
yeah.
did, yeah. Did you have any role models, and do you still have a role model? Because you
No,
yourself is a now role model for many.
good point. You are asking me role model. If I'm just thinking of, since you are asking this, till the time I took up my first job, probably my father was a role model for me. But when I took the first job, my boss, who actually hired me, because IPCL, when we recruited, it was a second batch of trainees.
Okay.
And they used to take 60 trainees in a year, and out of them 30 trainees were chemical engineering trainees, and 30 mixture of all other disciplines: instrument, electrical, mechanical, civil, etc. But these 30 engineers, so the year when I was selected to IPCL as a trainee, and my boss, who was going to be the managing director of Petrophil's Cooperative Society, which was progressing this polyester filament project, and he was already designated as a managing director. He was a project administrator. So he chose out of the 30, 3 boys, me, one of them,
Okay.
and took us under his tutelage. And rest of the 27 trainees, they all went through formal training, IIP, Dehradun, and refineries, and that time, if you remember, IPCL, they had some plants already operating, etc. So they had formal training, but not me. I was, in fact, straight away like a management training, typically. And so I used to travel with him to Delhi ministries, meet planning commission people and DGTD, ministry officials, and I used to attend meetings with him, financial institutions, and appraisal of the projects. It was a new project. We did not even have a land. So we had to, search the land, and right from the acquisition of the land to the basic design, engineering, everything was to be done later. So it was a good exposure during those formatting years, I would say. And if you were to say role model, he was one of the role models. He was educated in the U.S. University of Wisconsin. Excellent gentleman, very sophisticated, very nice, clear directions, clear, I would say, taking care, taking care kind of person. So I enjoyed working with him, and I learned a lot.
Okay.
Very, the etiquette, meeting etiquette, talking etiquette, conversation, and thought, clarity.
Yes, sir. So IPCL was a blue chip company, and now also it's a blue chip company because it's part of Reliance.
That is
so
true.
Definitely, I think that set a good foundation for your career.
Yeah,
But can you, sir, give a brief on your career progression in Reliance?
Okay, so from I worked there for 5 years, and then I had a very brief stint, 1 year stint in Bhopal, because my boss, he had a 5-year contract. So after that he left. He went to the ministry, and then after 1 year or something, and I left IPCL, because not IPCL, Petrophils, it was more of a government kind of company, and so I did not want to continue there. So I had, and actually when I did my engineering, my target companies were 3 or 4: Hindustan Liver, ICI, Union Carbide,
Okay.
no seal.
No seal.
These are the 4 companies, we as students, we used to be targeting for. And and then when I spent these few years in Petrofield, and then there was an opportunity came to me, an advertisement. I applied, and I actually joined Union Carbide, and I was there for 1 year, and then I joined Reliance. It was a very strange incident of joining Reliance. It's because I was involved with this Petrophil's project right from the beginning, involved with every aspect of project management. and procurement and all that. So when I was in Union Carbide, one day I got a phone call from someone in Reliance, and it happened to be Mr. Chakravarti, vice president,
Yeah.
very senior person,
Yes.
attached to Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani. He called me and he said, Mr. Narayan, can you come over to Ahmedabad? I want to meet with you, etc., etc. I said I did not know why I was being called. I went there, and by air, and I was picked up and stayed in a hotel, and I was picked up again, taken to the office and the factory. I was taken around as if I was, I got a VIP treatment and lunch, and then immediately after lunch, he told me that why don't we go to Bombay? Why? No, I want you to meet the owners of Reliance. I didn't even know why. I didn't even know. So I said, okay, fine. I had come from Bhopal to Ahmedabad to Bombay, Bombay in the evening, and there I go, stay in West End, and then the next day I had my breakfast early in the morning and just waited, and then at around 12 o'clock, a car comes and picks me up and goes. I go to this Reliance office, which was a very dingy building in Dobi Talao near Metro. Metro, regular, yeah, and Metro. So I go there, and then he takes me to who? Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani. And I met him, and he told me, "Welcome to family." So I was totally, flabbergasted, and I was surprised. And it's then nothing else, because I got a piece of paper to fill up the form. And so I told this gentleman, I never came for interview or joining or any idea. So that is how I joined this. No, I did not join. When I was then told later on, I was followed up through. And so this, I'm telling you why I'm telling you, because youngsters who are listening to me should be knowing this incident. And I did not have an appointment letter, but I got a call. Why are you not coming and joining? So I said, I've not even seen an appointment letter. Now do you come? So I tell you, there, you people are now talking about VUCA world, right? VUCA.
Yeah.
I had seen VUCA then. You know what is VUCA? Vulnerability, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity.
Oh, okay.
Today, all of us are in VUCA world.
Okay.
But I had seen VUCA then. I did not know. It was a mixture of complexity, uncertainty, and I was pretty much in a vulnerable position, and there was an ambiguity, and I had to make a decision, which I did. And people, some people even discouraged me. I shouldn't be joining Reliance. It's a Gujarati company. It was not even a public limited company. Oh, no, you should not. It's leaving a multinational company and going to a Gujarati company, etc., and all of that. I did not even have an appointment letter in, and I did not even know the terms.
Yeah.
So, but I took a decision.
And not only that, I think maybe initially you were asked to join on a trial basis, no? Just, spend some time.
No trial. No. I was, even when I was in Bombay, when I was asked to fill up the form, I was told, we will print a visiting card. You don't go back to Bhopal, they said. Let's go to Delhi tomorrow morning to meet some ministries. I said, I can't. So this is all okay. These are all some of the experiences, but why I'm saying this is the youngsters should not get flustered when they are confronted with, sometimes having to make a decision.
Right.
And so I don't think I consulted anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I just made a decision and informed my father. And my father, probably if I had consulted my father, maybe he would have also expressed concern, I think. And but I just took this and I told him I'm joining a company in Ahmedabad, because I was initially offered the position in Ahmedabad, and I was there for about 6 months, and I was actually taken for polyester project in Patalganga.
Okay.
And there the career completely took a totally different turn. And I was the first employee first employee for the petrochemicals projects.
Okay.
And because of that, I had the great privilege and honor of working with the senior Ambani right from day one. And so we used to travel to Delhi. Those days, what a licensed Raj, and so we had DGTD, ministries, financial institutions, going and meeting, presenting, discussions, and all of that. So I was part of that, and subsequently, finalization of the license agreements and engineering, procurement, project management, and all of that. So we were doing everything. So the most important part of this is when you have such an opportunity and you're in such a situation, you need to rise to occasion, but it takes a lot of effort, and you need to really rise up to the occasion.
And we learned that you were partly responsible for grooming Mr. Mukesh Ambani.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Don't make that mistake. The only no, don't say that.
But that is the fact, anyway.
Mukesh Ambani joined a bit after I joined Reliance. So he's very humble person in that respect, because even today, I think even 3 days ago when we had the meeting in a Microsoft team meeting, and it was some newcomers were there, very senior people. He, with great humility, he did mention that Mr. Narayan is senior to me in Reliance. He was saying, he is the man who took me around to show me the sites of Patalganga, etc. I took him to Patalganga site for the first time, because I had gone there before. Okay. So he came from Stanford after his MBA, and he was there, and he came back, and then so by that time I was already in Reliance. And so that's it's not grooming, etc. But we worked together, we traveled together, and directly, because once he joined Reliance, and so he was working with senior Ambani very closely. So we used to interact. We traveled extensively together those days, and to that extent, he was just gaining experience. So I was having a lead of 6 years of experience, 6 or 7 years of experience, before he really got into business. That's why. So don't make a mistake. Yeah. Don't make a mistake. No grooming. He was a very fast learner. You don't need any groomers for him.
Sir, your career, I think, got blossomed from Patalganga stage. And what are the skills and attributes you had adopted for rising in the hierarchy?
No, Patalganga, because it's an opportunity, and when you get an opportunity, you have to seize that opportunity. That's a first. That's a if at all a message or advice, you have to seize that opportunity. You should not give up that opportunity. And then, because senior Ambani, he was a great person in the sense, he's a great person of a great judge of judge of people. And so since he did not go to college, so he was not technically qualified, and naturally he was depending on technical people. So we as professionals and technical people, so he would depend on us, and it was our job to actually act as extension to them. They put the money, they're the owners. So what they expect as an ownership mindset in their employees, so they trust. So when they trust a person like him, when he trusts a man, he has to trust like he trusts his son. So you have to
reciprocate.
Yeah, you have to stand up to that expectation. So that's an opportunity I got, and for in Patalganga, then we worked. Actually, we had bosses, we had project managers and operations managers, and initial project. So we worked under them, though directly we were interacting with Mukesh and Dhirubhai also. But we were very young then, just grooming ourselves, molding ourselves. And so we were very flexible. Where our bosses, they all worked from Lala companies, and they were 45 years age, and we were about 29, 30 or something. So we had that advantage of ability to mold ourselves rather than the people with experience of 20 years already. And so they were already molded people. See? So I'm, message to the youngsters is the young days in the formatting years, spend enough time to mold yourselves properly. Because once that molding is done, your shape is fixed. You can only then, fine tune the shape. But the major molding and shaping up of personality and character is then in Korea. So if you get an opportunity, you should not miss it. And that is what we did. What I think I'm sure some contributions were made, and I could see the recognition. So we got more and more opportunities. See, when in particularly entrepreneurial companies, the owner control companies, you show the performance, you get more responsibilities. You don't show performance, your responsibilities are reduced automatically, and they don't tell you. It happens.
Yeah.
So that's the mantra. So that's why I got a lot of opportunities, a lot of responsibilities, and a lot of trust and faith.
Okay, sir. So do you remember any major events, in your career, family life, social life, profession, cultural, devotional,
Well,
extracurricular?
any
Something
event
you want to
is,
share with us?
let me tell you, I used to travel a lot. Travel a lot means in my, on the job front, my Patalganga days, and subsequently after Patalganga projects moved to Hazira and more Hazira, the responsibility is much bigger site, many more complex projects, very, very chemical engineering oriented projects, and interesting, and I travel extensively. And one of the good things about, what I liked is we finalized a lot of technology agreements, engineering agreement, procurement, project itself. And I was managing, I was able to manage. I don't know how today, if you ask me, I was managing even the legal aspect, contractual, commercial, technical, custom related, banking, treasury, letter of credit, anything. So I could manage, and with that, I still remember all those early license agreements and technology agreements. I actually finalized myself without any lawyer support, and just went and I was authorized, and I was given, I was delegated with the power, went and signed agreements. They're all operating now, and we have great relationship with these technology people, and today. So that's one of the reasons, our owners are recognizing. So you've developed such a relationship with these people, continue to be. And so the company grows, they grow, we grow. So this is, if I have to remember some events. The other thing which I have to remember is when I used to travel, because we had two little children, and my wife took care of them totally. I had to.
Okay.
I was hardly in Bombay, in town, and so much so that sometimes I used to come back in the middle of the night, and maybe my youngest son didn't even recognize me as his father. So probably he must have thought some uncle has come. So to that extent, my wife took care of our children totally, and without much support from me those early days of my children. So that's why one of the reason my wife is very close to the children, and children are very close to her, maybe more than they are to me.
Yeah, yes, sir. That was my next question. Because what was the family support you have received? We know that Shailaka was, the lady behind your, the success, and as well as your,
I had great support. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's impossible if we did not have that. She's a doctorate, and and our subject is microbiology. So it's a very coveted subject, and if she had not taken that responsibility, probably she could have been as or more successful than me. Maybe.
Yes, sir. So, sir, my next question is any other hobbies and activities and your pastime interests, which are like stress busters? Definitely because you are working in such an environment, you need all these, backups also.
I have been, I have been having this habit of walking, I think probably 30, 35 years. Because, early, I think I probably 1998, maybe I was 30 or 35, 30, 40. 88 is what, 30 years? 30, about 38 8 years old. I was detected, a diabetic. And
Okay.
but then since then I started, because based on advice of the doctor, I started taking interest in remaining fit. So I took up walking habit, and ever since then I've been very regular in walking, even today. So now I used to walk in the middle of the night. I was known as, and I think in a company, many old timers in the company, practically everybody knows about my habit of walking. Whoever traveled with me in abroad, I used to travel in the middle of the night and very cold, snowing outside. I would go for walk 1 hour, 1 hour, 1.5 hours for snowing. So I used to do that. And even if I went, traveling, even for 1 day or 2 days, I still would carry my walking shoes. So I would, as far as possible, I wouldn't miss walking uh, daily routine. So I do that.
Even your food habits also, I know, Chailaka used to pack, all those sprouts
Yes,
and fruits and all those for your lunch.
yeah, that is more recently. But I had very bad food habits in the beginning, and in early days when I was young, and the body was able to take that stress. And my boss, Mr. Ambani, Mukesh,
Mhm.
also used to love this junk food.
Yeah.
Dosa, idli, vada, upma. And I used to have the same thing. I used to skip my lunch, and I used to have this at 7:30, and we used to stay late in the night. And but for youngsters, my advice is don't do that. Don't skip any meal. Have a good breakfast. Have at least some light lunch, light snacks, and good dinner. And and I think because of that dietary habit early in life, when I was young and the body could take that stress, I did that, and but it showed up later. So if I were to give an advice, that's it.
Yes, sir. Sir, give a small talk on the citations and accolades you had received, in the college days and during your career, employment, profession.
No, generally, I as college days, if I were to remember, I was a uh, I was not very well known in pre-university. I was okay in engineering, and because it was a very close-knit chemical engineering team, and as I mentioned to you that in all my chemical engineering years, that third, fourth, fifth year, so I had ranks, university ranks. So apart from that, what else? I used to play games. I used to win some tournaments, and I used to play chess and for the college, and I used to also in IIT when I used to there, I used to play chess, and I used to play table tennis, and I was very active and generally known, and I was not a I don't think maybe once in a while, or 1 or 2 times, and maybe I would have given a talk, small talks. I was not a voracious talker, and but I used to read. I used to read. I still remember my school days. Terry Mason, It used to be my favorite novel, and I think I used to also read P.G. Wodehouse. And but later on, when I took up jobs, I was not all that. I did not continue with that habit. Although I read magazines and watch TVs and newspaper and keep myself abreast fairly well. And I know that today, for the today's youngsters, information is available freely. Those days, not so easy to get information. Today, it's a completely free and free access. But there is also a disadvantage of that. You have so much of information, so you have to be clever enough and wise enough to filter that information and convert it into knowledge. And that is how the chain information is available, convert it into knowledge, and knowledge to experience. You apply that knowledge and you get experience, and you more and more experience, you become an expert. And so that's how you have to do. That's a chain. And
yeah, go ahead, sir.
So if you were to ask me, I don't think anything else except that in the professional career, I did have, because I've been associated with Indian Institute of Materials Management, and also the NACE, National Association of Corrosion Engineers, and Chemtech Foundation in the country. And in your introduction, you cited those awards, some of this leadership award and the lifetime contribution award and all that. So I have received a few of them, and maybe I have also been invited to give talks by various other on other platforms and forums like Instrumentation Institution Association, or rather Instrumentation Association, or Valves and Fittings Association, and Control System Association. All these associations used to invite me, and I also I've been invited several times over by big companies like Siemens, BASF, even Halder Topsoe in their Copenhagen office, to go and give a talk give a customer voice. And very well accepted, because I'm generally not, I don't mince words. When I talk, I'll call spade a spade. And so I would say, I would very openly say the strengths and weaknesses of these companies, and they would really appreciate it. And it's a very good feedback for them. If you do not have negative feedback, whatever they have, and how will they improve? No, that's exactly what they used to comment upon my talks in these sessions. So these are generally my other activities apart from my normal jobs. And I think I remember even when I used to travel, I used to be associated with all these engineering companies and licensors, and I used to spend time in those offices, and they used to even tell me, but then those talks were only limited to that particular office, and inaugurations of companies and offices, and general, but it's a very not specific subject. That's where we are. Yeah.
You have been a voracious reader. That's what you. But what is your opinion, whether especially for the youngsters, whether reading books is more beneficial than just surfing the Google and such things, where a lot of information is available, but then which is better?
No, I see. As I mentioned to you, information is free. Our days, information was not free, and so it was. People used to hold the information to the chest, keep them as a secret. I still remember. But today, that kind of an approach will not happen. So if I were to actually, if you were to ask me my advice, is, as I mentioned earlier, just don't go by the information. Try to convert and collect, or rather develops knowledge out of that information, and how you can apply them into into your day-to-day life and your, at home or in your job, workplace, and try to develop expertise. And learning is a continuous process. It doesn't stop anywhere. The moment you think your learning is complete and you know everything, and that's a day, it's you develop arrogance, and you become egoistic. So you should avoid, youngsters. So learning is a continuous thing, and you can learn from anyone. You can learn from elders. You can learn from scriptures. You can learn from gurus. You can learn from even youngsters. You can learn from even nature, animals. You just watch the animals' behavior and you can learn why they're doing that. So learning is a very continuous process. It's something which I would advise, and not advise, urge and encourage the youngsters to be aware of that. And there is so much to learn. You need not be restricted to what your field, because you can even learn things from outside. And my experience while traveling, why I'm saying this very specific. When I used to travel abroad very extensively, I used to interact with people with different cultures, language, culture, environment, religion, and all of that, and their clothing. And so if you know more and more about this, and so you can actually have a good conversation with this, and you can be very happy. So people also, they also help you, achieve something in your job, workplace as well, not your place, job, your objectives. And so people come closer to you. And particularly the culture of these, when you go to Japan or China or Korea, and their way of doing business is extremely different. You have to have a heart-to-heart relationship. You go to America, it's extremely businesslike. It's more of a mind working, not heart-to-heart. In Europe, it is somewhere in between. So you need to be aware of this, and so that's one of the advice that I would give to the youngsters. You have to be flexible, you have to be learning, you have to expand your knowledge outside there and general, etc. And one important advice, important for youngsters: don't think about, I'll plan my life for 10 years and 20 years. I can tell you, if I go back 20 years and what I am today, compare, would I ever dreamt or planned my life 20 years from then? Totally different. So you don't have to. And so all that I would advise is you take it as it comes, but do your best. Put your best foot, best efforts, and then leave it to, the Almighty. Accept whatever comes in your way. Accept. So that's my advice. And otherwise, people, plan life for 15 years, and then they get disappointed because, oh man, I've been thinking about these. I wanted to become so and so. I wanted to go in America and be this big man and all that. So don't do that now. So as you grow in life, it automatically happens. But important is with the best effort, dedicated effort.
Yeah, I agree, sir.
One other thing I would say, every youngsters have to be mindful of the fact that their parents and their elders and relatives have great aspirations for them to be good citizens, good educated people, and come up in life, do something. So I'm telling all the youngsters, do not disappoint them. And put your utmost diligence and put your heart to whatever you do. And automatically, something good will happen. And if something doesn't happen, don't get disappointed heavily, because any disappointment in life has a reason, because God has made sure that after the disappointment, there's after the disappointment, there will be something, definitely a ray of hope. So so I have seen life that sometimes disappointment, and then you go backwards and say, oh, that good that disappointment happened, because my life completely changed and something good happened, much better than what I would have expected.
Yeah, the saying goes, the failure will be a step, for a success, something.
Yeah, absolutely. Communication is very important.
Yeah.
Advice: communication. Be extremely clear in your communication, because miscommunication, wrong communication, they may lead to misunderstanding and misconception, and you may be misconstrued. So very clear, and never feel bad to say I'm sorry when you're wrong. Yeah, whenever you get an opportunity, say thank you. So there are two things. And whenever you don't know anything, you say I don't know. You don't pretend to know, because these are some of the basics, though people do not recognize the importance of these things. It's in life, when you're in a workplace, when you're dealing with people, different types of people, these are very important attributes. You're asking me how you become as a leader. You always work for the betterment of the people who work with you, who work for you, and that's how you command respect. You don't demand respect, you command respect. Yeah. And for us, fortunately for us, the professionals, and technical people, domain knowledge is a very important aspect, and people respect for your domain knowledge and your attitude, your minds. So naturally, some of these factors, which is gratitude and acceptance, patience, tolerance, these are all natural attributes expected of a good person and a good future leader. And these youngsters, after all, they are going to run the country, they are going to run the community, they are going to run the
Yes.
society. So they have to be as cut above the normal.
Sir, now deviating a little bit from the main subject, sir, your personal thoughts about Gokul and sweet memories associated.
Well, I was just wondering. Well, let me tell you what. I've never heard of Gokul for quite some time, and but I got married in Gokul.
Oh,
Okay, so my wife
congrats.
and her family actually lived in San, just maybe 150 meters away from Gokul, or 250 meters away. And so they were very much associated. My mother-in-law was very much associated with all kinds of activities and exhibitions and a few other things. And my wife was also pretty much involved, and she knew. Whenever I used to start going to Gokul, I used to get associated with Gokul recently. And so when I used to sit with her, and she would point out, this is so and so, Mr. So and so, old veteran in Gokul, contributed so much, and this and that, and many other things. See, I don't know whether you know Mr. Udupa and Mr. Shomeshwar. I used to know them, and and Mr. Udupa was instrumental in our getting married also. So they contributed, and so. And I used to, so through them, I used to get a little bit involved, in a sense, I was not a regular visitor to Gokul, except that, in some special occasions, if they wanted some contributions or enablers, they used to do something for them, not otherwise. So not an active member, except that recently, probably, maybe 5-8 years.
Redevelopment.
Maybe ever since the redevelopment work started, or a little before that. So Dr. Rao has been, he has been insisting on, and he encouraged me to take part in these activities. And so I thought, why not? Although I have not been able to contribute as much as I would have liked to, because of my my time, or the busy schedule, or my other engagements with my work assignments, and my I don't say I'm a stressful person. I'm saying otherwise, time-wise, I'm probably stressed because of other engagements and my commitment to the company. Otherwise, I certainly would have liked to contribute more and spend more time.
Still, you are, contributing a lot, sir. In spite of your busy schedule.
No, just about, yeah. My contribution and my thoughts are with Gokul. Always, if there is anything that I can within my purview, then why not? Within my control, I would always. And I wish Gokul all the best. And I'm happy that it's coming up very well. And
Yeah.
though a bit late, a bit delayed because of pandemic and
Right.
other reasons, but I see it coming up beautifully.
Yes, sir. So before I request you to summarize and and take home for the youngsters, message for the youngsters and others also in the viewers in general. So can I request Shailaka to say a few words? And if you have any other item to discuss or share with us, please go ahead.
No. I have. I think unless you want to know something more, because I have. I think I have spoken more than my.
We are on schedule. Our timing
No,
is just 1 hour now. That's all.
I would have. I did not want to steal thunder out of your talk, and so I may have taken too much of share of your time.
No, sir. No. We enjoyed your talks, and if you have something else also to share, please go ahead. We have still 5-10 minutes. And Shailaka, if you want to say a few words.
Shaila excuses herself, and she says it is. Yeah, sorry. She will come and she'll say. She'll say something.
She can say hello to.
She is here.
Hi. Hello, madam. How are you?
His Sambhashana, not mine.
I know, but we know that you are the architect behind
No.
Mr. Narayan for his career and success. Whatever.
Not so. He's self-made. I supported him. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
If you say how
one part I have to apologize is that I thought when the topic of this is Sambhashana, which is supposed is a Kannada word. ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ.
And you said English plus Kannada.
No, actually, see the youngsters. See, many of them, they can understand English better than our mother tongue, whether it is Kannada or Tudu. So I thought this is like universal for all the viewers and the youngsters.
That is why
I said, you can in between matadbodu, we can, and they'll all understand. But maybe English is a better medium.
In Kannada is Gokul.
She can. ನೀವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಲ್ಲ?
ಯಾಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು? ನಾವು ಟಾಕದ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು.
You have to say something to the viewers, so please God.
Viewers ಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗಾದ್ರೂ.
ನಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆ ಇವ್ರು ನಂದಲ್ಲ.
Okay.
That's right. Okay, thank you.
Sir, take home for the youngsters.
Yeah.
You may just summarize whatever you want to say for the viewers. So I think we will wind up.
You want me to? Because if the viewers have any questions, they can. So let's use that 5 minutes. And
like you have already given messages in between, but I thought maybe towards the end, if you can say few words, some punch lines. That's all.
Punchline is, as I mentioned to you, do not discourage your parents' aspirations. They're all, they are spending a lot of effort, money, and making sacrifices in their lives. And so they're all emotionally attached, and every parent wants his son and daughter to become a good citizen, and something good to the society, something good uh, to the humanity. So I want them to take that message and do everything correct, and be a good citizen.
Okay.
That's in one line for the youngsters.
Okay.
And I've said many things and many attributes which make a person good.
Yeah, before I hand over, sir, thank you very much. So before I hand over to Mr. Guru Prasad for his final, talk on the, Thanksgiving talk. So I just want to, put whatever we are discussed in a nutshell. I think a sort of a message for the youth. So one is, we need to be very communicative, with our, whatever ideas and intentions and, work culture. And try to be transparent. That is very important. Even if something is not done as per the requirement, or you see some disappointment, failures, just you try to absorb and go ahead. And third is the adaptability. So you have to adapt to the environment where you are really working with the people, with the location, environment. And fourth is, the important is the dedication and the confidence. Whatever knowledge you have, try to utilize it with all confidence. Don't worry about the risk. Don't worry about the what would be the result. So you try to, it's like the Gita Upadesh, where you try to do your thing and leave it to the God. So God disposes, man proposes and God disposes. And try
No. Correction.
the credibility is very important. Try to develop the credibility with the management and the persons working with, and then you try to develop your team and give the credits to them rather than you keeping it. That is very important. You have to motivate them, and that is how you will be more successful in life. I think if I missed out something, sir, Narayan sir, you can add.
Yeah. But no. That's you don't say man proposes, God disposes. No, you don't think it as disposal. You have to only man proposes and accepts what comes in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, sir. And Mr. Guru Prasad, are you there? I think we are through
Yes.
with our Sambhashana. And Guru Prasad, and I think
Yes.
I call him.
So
Yeah.
thank you, Bala uncle, for the wonderful summary. I'm sure the audience had a lot to take from this session. B. Narayan sir, your stories were really inspiring, and I'm sure like the youth wingers, even all the viewers have something or the other to take away from this session. Thank you, Mrs. Narayan, for all the coordination. Thank you, Bala uncle, for all the time taking out time for this.
Thank you.
As always, the audience is the most important part of any program. We thank you all for being a part of this BSKB YouthWing family. We thank the president and the managing committee of the BSKB Association for giving us this opportunity, as well as the support and encouragement. I'd also like to thank Ms. Tanvi Rao, Ms. Supriya Udupa, and Janvi Poti for the coordination. Please subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram by the name YouthWing_BSKBA. Thank you all for joining. Namaskara.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Narayan sir, for taking. We have taken your valuable time and